Welcome back everyone to our first website tutorial series. This is Al from BluFo Innovations and I'm excited today to start our section about CSS. We should probably begin by talking about what CSS actually is. Well, if you've been following the tutorial series so far, you should have a web page that looks something like this. And it's actually pretty cool, right? We've added a lot of HTML elements. We have a logo image, some text, some list, a form. It's all great, but I wouldn't exactly say that this web page is something you want to show off to your friends or your coworkers or your grandma. Certainly not something I want to show off to my grandma, but that's okay because that's where CSS comes in. CSS is going to take this HTML page and it's going to make it a lot more interesting and beautiful than it is right now. And again, if you've been following the tutorial so far, we've kind of been using this analogy of the human body. With HTML, we've built our skeleton, but now we want to add to that skeleton to make it look more real, more human, right? You want to give it a face, eyes, hair, all of those things that make humans beautiful and unique. And we're going to do the same thing to our website using CSS. Now there's a couple different ways to apply CSS to our HTML document, but the easiest way to get started is with inline CSS. And what that means is our CSS styling is going to be right in line with our HTML elements in this document. So we're going to be applying the CSS directly, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's get started. I think the first thing our page needs is a little bit of color, and what I want to do is change the background color. So I'm going to apply a little bit of styling to our body element. That's kind of our whole page, right? So to do that, I'm going to create a style attribute, and then between these quotes, I need to put the CSS properties that I want to change. Now there's a ton of them. Again, we're only going to scratch the surface in this tutorial, but I will include a resource in the description if you want to read about all the properties there are. In this instance, we want to just make one change, which is the background color, just like that. And the syntax is always going to be the property you want to change, colon, then the value you want to change it to, and then a semicolon to close it. So background color, and I'm going to say light. You'll see there's a drop down there with a bunch of different colors. I kind of want to try this light steel blue background color. I'll save it. And then if we look at our page, there it is, the background color change. It's that simple. And already it makes kind of a big difference, doesn't it? The page looks a lot better. But we have a lot more work to do. So what do we want to do next? Well, I want my header here to really stand out from the rest of the page. So let's try changing the background color of just my header. We'll go back into our HTML document, and this time we're going to apply the style just to the header element. So again, I'll add a style attribute and the background color property, but this time I want to add a custom color. This time I want it to be that nice dark BluFo blue. So I'm going to add a value here, 264, and what that is that's a hexadecimal number. So it's a combination of 6 characters that translates into a color. And I'm not going to explain it all right now, but I will include a resource in the description again if you want to read more about it. But basically, this 6-digit number translates into that dark BluFo blue. And if we look at our page, there it is. Looks pretty good. The header really stands out from the rest of the page. But things look pretty cluttered here. Everything's pushed right to the edge of the header. So let's change that. I'm going to go back into my style attribute. And after my background color, there's a semicolon, and then we're going to add another property. I'm going to add a padding property. And then I'm going to say 20 pixels. I'll save that. And again, if we take a look, you can see now everything's kind of pushed inwards a little bit. It just makes things look a little less cluttered, a little bit more natural. But there's something on this page that doesn't look natural. And you may have noticed already there's kind of this empty space around everything. That doesn't seem correct. Usually the header goes right to the edge of the page. Now there's a reason for that, but it can be a little bit confusing when you're starting to do this. And the reason is your web browser sometimes adds in default CSS. And that's what's happened in this case. It's added a default margin around my whole page. But I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to go back into our HTML page. And again, we already added a little style to our body tag, but after the semicolon, I want to just add another property, margin 0, and close it with my semicolon. Then I'll save it. And if we go back, there it is. Our header goes right to the edge of the page, and now things look a lot more natural than they did before. But our header still doesn't look great. We don't really want these elements stacked on top of each other, right? We want our header tucked neatly at the top of our page, and then we want these elements spread horizontally across. Now you'll find in web development, as any kind of programming, usually there's several different ways to accomplish a task. But for now, I just want to try and get these elements in the position I want them in. So let's start by moving this nav bar just to the right of our logo. To do that, I'm going to go back into our HTML document, and this time I want to style the nav element. So I'm going to add that style attribute, and then I'm going to give it a property of display, and the value is inline block. Now, I'll get much more into depth into positioning elements in a later video, but for now, this should do the trick. So if I save it, there it is. We moved our nav bar over to the right. It makes it in line with the logo. But what about our H1 and H2 elements? Well, I could do the same thing with those and have everything right in line with each other, but I actually like having these stacked on top of each other. You have kind of a big title and then a slightly smaller title. Plus, I want these to be on the right-hand side of the page. So let's start working on that. I'm going to go back into my HTML document, and I'm going to make a change actually to the HTML. I'm going to create a div element, and then I'm going to put this H1 and H2 elements inside of it. And what that's going to allow me to do is keep those together and just style the div element. So I'm going to add that style attribute, and then I'm going to give it a property of float, and the value is to the right. And as you might imagine, that means we're going to float this div to the right side of the page. So if I save it and I go back, there it is. My titles are on the right-hand side of the page. We're making some good progress. But those titles don't really stick out the way that we want. Black on dark blue doesn't provide the contrast that we're looking for. And anytime you're developing a website, contrast is an important design element that you want to keep in mind. So let's change that color. And I'm going to show you something a little bit different. So after our float parameter, let's add another parameter of color. And when we're talking about color, we've already seen background color, which of course changes the background. And to change a font, it's not font color, it's just color. So color white will change the font color. And then I'm going to add another parameter here, which is text align. And I'm going to say end. And what that's going to do is push the text to the right-hand side of that div. We'll save it and take a quick look. And there we go. It looks a lot better. Those stand out much more. But I'm going to make a couple more changes here. So with our H1 element, I want to add a style parameter. And what I want to put here is text transform. We'll say uppercase. And what that's going to do is make our text all uppercase letters. And then I'm going to add a color parameter to this one as well. And I'm going to make it a custom color. I'm going to make it that nice BluFo pink color that I have. So again, it's a hexadecimal number, and I'm going to save it. And let's take a look now. And there we go. Things are looking kind of cool now. I still don't love the font. We'll change that later. But the colors, the contrast, everything is looking a lot better. Our page is looking more balanced. And I really like what we have so far. But we did things a little bit differently there. So let's take a look at what we actually did. Well, first of all, we applied the color white parameter to our div. And in this instance, the div is what we call a parent element because it contains our H1 and H2 elements, which we'll call the child elements. So again, the div is the parent, and the elements inside of it are the children elements. So when we applied color white to the parent element, it applied that white color to each of the children as well. So the H1 and the H2 both turned white. Then I went back and I applied these two parameters, the text transform and the color pink parameters, to just the H1. So again, if I were to remove these parameters, we just saw this, but I'll show you again. I'll remove these parameters. Both of the children elements, the H1 and the H2, are white. However, when I reapply those parameters to the H1, it changes just that H1 element. So that's a pretty good example of a parent to child relationship. So hopefully you're starting to see how CSS works. You just find the elements that you want to change, and then you apply the style parameters to them. So before we wrap things up, let's try to improve this a little bit more. Let's fix up this nav bar. So if I go back in here, we had our three A elements, right? And we want to apply style to these three A elements. So I'm going to click right after my href attribute, and then I'm going to show you another very useful VS Code shortcut. So I'm going to hold down Control and Alt. Then I'm going to press the down arrow key twice. and you'll see that selects all 3 lines. Now whatever I type, it's going to type into all 3 of those lines in the same place. So if I hit space and then add my style attribute, then I'm going to add a few different parameters here. We're going to say color white, which we already know will change the font to white. Then I'm going to add text transform uppercase. We know that will make it all uppercase. Then I'm going to say font weight bold. Of course, that's going to make the text bold. We're going to add padding, which should add some space between each of those links. I'm just going to add 10 pixels of space. And then the last one is going to be text decoration none. And what that will do is remove the underline that's underneath each of those links. I'll save it. And you can see just like that, it changed all 3 of those A elements, and it looks quite a bit better. Now, I don't really love this font. This is kind of a standard font, and it looks a little bit ugly. So let's make a quick change to that. And to do that, we'll go back into our file. And really, I don't like using that default font at all on my page. So I want to change a font for everything. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to change the font in our body element. Because again, the body is sort of like the parent element for all of our content, right? So if I change the font here, it should change the font on the entire page. So what I'm going to do is add a parameter here after our margin 0, and I'm going to say font family. And you can see there's a drop down here. It gives me a few different options of kind of default generic fonts, right? So we're just going to choose one of these for now. In a later video, I'll show you how to use a custom font, but I'm going to choose this Gill Sans font family here. And we'll save it, take a look, and there we go. It changed the font everywhere. It's still not my favorite, but it is certainly better than that one that we had before. And now I'm going to make just one last style change to have this header really pop off the page. What I'm going to do is go back in here, and in our header element, after the padding parameter, I want to add another parameter, which is box shadow. And the box shadow accepts a few different values. I'm not going to explain it all now. I'll, again, include a resource in the description, but I'm just going to say 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 10 pixels, and then I'm going to use my dark blue color again. So I'm going to say 0D264D. And I'm going to save it. And what that will do is add this little shadow underneath our header. It just adds a little bit more depth. It almost makes it feel like it's above the rest of the page. And I think that looks pretty cool since we just added some very simple inline CSS. You see how it works a little bit. The header looks so much better than it did before. And realistically, you could style your whole website this way, but that's not usually the best way to do it. So if we go back into our HTML file, things already look a lot messier than they did before. It's not as clear where elements are. If you wanted to go change something, you might have some style in your parent element or in the children elements. There's a lot of different parameters here. So this isn't really the best way to style your website, but that's where the next lesson comes in.